I think we all owe a tremendous apology to Adam Schefter because I honestly think he covered this entire situation masterfully. As you're going to see in this press conference with Aaron Rodgers, every single thing that Adam Schefter said that pertained to the Aaron Rodgers situation ended up being legitimate and very true in this situation. So what's going on, guys? Your boy Mike here. Before we get to the content, just a reminder that we're giving away a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X to a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. If you could also sack that like button for the YouTube algorithm, this is our 4th video in 24 hours. And every like really helps push this content out to a larger audience, especially considering that Roger Goodell literally copyright claimed 3 out of my last 4 videos. Now that we get all that out of the way, Burk! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Today was a make or break day for many teams as training camps officially started today. And with that, Aaron Rodgers finally returned to the Green Bay Packers and, well, he engaged the media for the very first time ever since these rumors regarding himself and his future with the Green Bay Packers went rampant. So this is a very long press conference, so I'm just going to touch upon the points that I believe were probably the most important to the entire storyline this entire offseason, because it was a very strange storyline at that. I've mentioned many times before that it seemed like there were going to be scenarios where the Green Bay Packers were going to trade Aaron Rodgers, and why wouldn't they? A year ago they drafted his replacement, and afterwards the best case scenario that was possible happened for them. I mean, if your current QB went ahead and had an NFL MVP season, which boosts his value to the point where you could trade him for a plethora of assets and then transition to your brand new quarterback, why wouldn't you do that? Well, the Green Bay Packers kind of had cold feet, and as a matter of fact, Aaron Rodgers actually called them out for this.
If you can't commit to me past 2021, and I'm not a part of recruiting process and for agency, if I'm not a part of the future, then instead of letting me be a lame duck quarterback, if you want to make a change and move forward, then go ahead and do it.
So when Aaron Rodgers says this, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the Green Bay Packers essentially were in the best position they potentially could have been in. You boosted Aaron Rodgers' value as much as you could. He's definitely on the wrong side of 30. He's definitely closer to the end of his career than the beginning of his career. Yet when the San Francisco 49ers offered to give you the number 3 pick in the NFL draft for Aaron Rodgers, you turned it down. It just seemed like it was very inconsistent and ineffective and inefficient roster construction, and Aaron Rodgers called that out even further.
Started with a conversation in February after the season ended, and I just expressed, my desire to be more involved in conversations that directly affected my job. Also, I wanted to help the organization maybe learn from them some of the mistakes in the past, in my opinion, about the way that some of the outgoing veterans were treated, and just the fact that we didn't retain a number of players that I felt like were core players to our foundation, our locker room, high character guys. I'm talking about Charles Woodson, Jordy Nelson, Julius Peppers, Clay Matthews, Randall Cobb, James Jones, John Kuhn, Brett Good, TJ Lang, Brian Balaga, Casey Hayward, Micah Hyde, guys who were, exceptional players for us, but great locker room guys, high character guys. Many of them who weren't offered a contract at all, or were extremely lowballed, or were, maybe in my opinion, not given the respect on the way out that guys of their status and stature and high character deserved.
And the fact that that was being ignored is what eventually alienated Aaron Rodgers. He felt like his voice wasn't being heard and that the Green Bay Packers weren't really using him to his best potential. Rodgers would continue on and list more examples, like when the Green Bay Packers hired Matt LaFleur without really asking for his input.
I wasn't involved in those conversations at all. I had talked to Matt after the deal had already been in place to hire him as a coach. I wasn't part of that conversation. Let's just make that completely clear. I do love Matt, and we've had a blast together, and I'm glad he's here. But decisions like that have happened over and over and over again that make me realize that the organization looks at me and my job as just a play. In my opinion, based on what I've accomplished in this league, the way I care about my teammates, the way I show up in the locker room, the way I lead, the way I conduct myself in the community, you should tie myself to a little bit more input
So this kind of gives you shades of Aaron Rodgers looking at how Tom Brady handled his career at this late stage of his career, and as a result, being given way more input on personnel decisions. Obviously, when he was in New England, Bill Belichick didn't want to pay him that respect. And of course, there might be a reason why Bill Belichick didn't want to do that, or it may have been a little bit more of a ego thing. That remains to be seen. We have no idea about that. But in this scenario, you're talking about a guy that has won you a Super Bowl and is really motivated to bring you a Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, Aaron Rodgers went out and said that this was never about the money. And once the Green Bay Packers felt like they were frustrating Aaron Rodgers, what did they end up doing?
Post the draft, I think what basically happened was then they said, we'll give you some money now. Let's see if we can throw some money at you. I said from the start it wasn't about the money. Obviously, I didn't show up for the off-season program or mini camp. To me, it was bigger than this. It was about trying to be a resource for the organization that I care about and love so much. So when the money came at me, the other part is, the backstory to that is, after the season, there was a part of me that did think that there would be conversation about an extension. Based on my cap number this season, next season, it seemed natural based on the way I played to at least have a conversation about it. It wasn't a conversation, not until into May. And that to me seemed like an analogy that you guys understand. You guys have a fantastic year at work. You write some great stories. You go to your boss and say, I just had an incredible year. I think I deserve a pay raise or, some security. And the boss says, let's just see how it goes. A couple months down the line, you get another job opportunity, you go back to your boss and say, hey, I got this amazing job opportunity. And we say, whoa, no, we love you. We do want you to stick around. We do care about you. Just have the same feeling. I said it wasn't about the money, and the way that felt, kind of just doubled down on that. Nothing really changed throughout the summer. There were obviously some developments in the last week or so, but I was really working on myself and my own mental state throughout the summer and at various points deciding if I wanted to even keep playing.
So at the end of the day, what Adam Schefter did report more or less was correct. Aaron Rodgers was a little spited by the fact that the Green Bay Packers didn't run many of these decisions by him. And as a result, he felt like he wasn't getting the respect that a Hall of Fame quarterback of his caliber should get. He also compared his situation to the way Brett Favre's situation was towards the end of his Green Bay Packers career. And I'd like to mention this over and over again. When the Green Bay Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers, their plan wasn't necessarily to go into the NFL draft and draft Brett Favre's successor. It was more of an opportunistic thing. The fact that a player that could have potentially been drafted as the #1 overall pick in the 2006 NFL draft fell to the Green Bay Packers' laps with the 24th pick in the NFL draft. Well, if this guy ends up being a transcendent talent, especially if he has the ability to sit behind a Hall of Fame quarterback, then of course you should select him with the 24th pick in the NFL draft. That's significantly different than what the Green Bay Packers did with Jordan Love. You see, Jordan Love wasn't considered to be a top prospect in the 2020 NFL draft. For all you know, someday he might be a transcendent talent, just as Aaron Rodgers was a transcendent talent. But the fact remains that there were 3 quarterbacks literally selected before Jordan Love, and this was supposed to be an extremely wide receiver heavy draft. After Jordan Love went wide receivers like Michael Pittman Jr. and T. Higgins, and of course, Laviska Shenault. I'm not really going to hate on them for not selecting Chase Claypool, but Chase Claypool was also there as well. If you couple that with the fact that the Green Bay Packers traded up to select Jordan Love, who wasn't even considered to be a top quarterback in this draft, obviously the situation is a little different and it's kind of giving Aaron Rodgers the finger. Now, that's not the only information we got from this press conference, because Davante Adams actually came out and stated his situation with the Green Bay Packers. As you guys know, Davante Adams' contract is set to expire after this year, and over the past week we made a video on the fact that Davante Adams rejected a contract extension offer from the Green Bay Packers, and he came out in today's media day and mentioned that
here beyond this year, would you be willing to not be the highest paid wide receiver if it means staying with him, or is that all you'll settle for?
No, that's not going to happen. I don't want to. It's not about being a baby, but what other profession do you take less than what you have earned? That's not how it goes. And the fans may see it different in certain ways, and I'm sure there's a lot of fans that see it the same way that myself, my family, my agent, and most of the league sees it. But you know, I'm not a baby, so I'm not gonna not show up, and I'm not complaining about it. At the end of the day, I'm not poor right now. You know, I'll be okay to get through and you know, go try to win a Super Bowl again, and that's my main focus now. I mean, the offseason was working out and trying to, you know, come to an agreement, but we weren't able to do that. So now it's kind of time to lock in. And yeah, hopefully I answered your question, but yeah, I've earned the right to be paid highest in the league, and if they don't believe that or you know, want to come to an agreement of, you know, kind of make me feel good about my contract, and I just don't want to make this thing about me too much.
So yeah, it was one crazy day if you're a Green Bay Packers fan. I personally don't think Aaron Rodgers will stay in Green Bay past this year, but that's my opinion on the matter. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this. I personally appreciate the transparency that Aaron Rodgers had during this entire press conference, and it should be interesting to see how this carries on in the NFL this year for the Green Bay Packers. Would it be a distraction, the fact that Aaron Rodgers could leave after this year, or do you think him and Davante Adams are going to gear up for one last dance with the Packers and maybe make a run to the Super Bowl? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.